On a whim, I decided to build some owl nesting boxes. So I went to the internet to get ideas and dimensions and things. And I don't want to insult anybody or be critical, but all of the ones I saw were not very attractive. So I'm going to make my own, and maybe I can make it a little more attractive, at least to me. So I am making a barn owl house, not to be confused with a barred owl house. Barred owls have bars in their feathers, or the illusion of bars. And barn owls, I guess they live in barns. Actually, I'm making 3 of them. I figured it'd be easier to make 3 all the same. So I got 1 sheet of plywood here. It's pretty good, like 12 veneers. I don't know exactly what it is. Somebody put this on the back. This is a good sheet. This is some old fir plywood, which is good stuff. And this is mahogany plywood from a boat, and I had to glue some fir plywood on it to make it the right size. So I got 3 bottoms, 17.5 and 17.5. And they're gonna be 24 inches tall. And I'm gonna put like a 1x2 in each corner for a vertical brace. So I'm gonna cut those out of these random cypress pieces. I'm gonna try to make these pretty nice. Try to slow myself down and make a nice product. This is where I am so far on the first one. I think these are the side walls, and I think this is the front, and I think I'm gonna put a gable with a sheet metal roof. So the hole to get in will be right here, and I think I want to put a clean out right here. And they like to have a landing pad, so I can use that landing pad as some sort of flashing to keep the water from getting in there where the clean out door is. Yeah, I'm having trouble. I'm dealing with COVID. I'm over the worst part. I'm not bedridden, and I'm tired of being inside. But man, it is really hard to concentrate. It is really hard to concentrate. I've made 10 times more mistakes than I normally do, and this is as far as I've gotten. So anyway, I'm gonna get the other one to this stage, and maybe by the time I get this one to this stage, I can take the clamps off of this one. I'd like to kind of build them all simultaneously. Okay, first 3 boxes. I got the floor, I got the 4 corners, and I got a plate on the opposite sides. And now I need 3 pairs of rafters, and I made a template. So I'm notching it where it's going to fit on that plate just to give it a little more rigidity. And we'll cut this. I think I'll cut it on the bandsaw, so they won't be perfectly straight cuts, but they'll be straight enough for the sheet metal to wrap around there. Okay, rafters on, ready for some siding. I was looking through YouTube videos and turning my nose up at everybody using plywood, because plywood painted, it just doesn't hold up, at least in Louisiana. And I was going to use all cypress or redwood or something nice, and I realized these are going to take a lot of material, and I don't know if I have enough, so I might be joining the plywood crowd, at least for part of it. But I can get started with cypress. All right, we have 3 owl boxes. We have 3 boxes. No, we have 3 backs on the 3 owl boxes. And I didn't think I was going to have enough of this 8-inch to go any further. I thought I was going to have to switch to some 6-inch stuff I got. But digging around up there, I found a couple more pieces. So we're going to continue with the 8-inch lap siding and see how far we get. Definitely have enough for at least 2 boxes. Okay, the 3 boxes have siding on 3 sides and all the corners trimmed. And I'm kind of hesitating on the front. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do it. I need a hatch at the bottom. I need a landing pad, and I need a little door at the top, and I need an overhang so they don't get water inside. I did put a drain hole in each one. I'm gonna put some wire over that hole. I said, well, this is a good time. Let me stop and get a coat of paint on all these. I need to put a coat of paint. I need to caulk all the cracks, put another coat of paint. That'll give me time to figure out what I don't know. You can usually tell about the quality of the paint by the quality of the paint lid. Yeah, but it's not that old, because I never buy Sherwin-Williams super paint. That was the guy that painted our house last, and that was, I don't know, 4 years. So the paint's 4 years old. And at first I went, whoa, what the crap? We didn't have anything red on our house, but that just must be some tint. So let's mix it up. A dark base, it must be a green, because the only dark colors on our house are green. So let's see what happens. If I can hold the phone still enough. No way. Yeah, it's gonna be a green. That's gonna be perfect. An open can. Okay, day 6 of the coronavirus. I was able to paint, put the trim on the front, and it's ready for caulk. Or they are ready for caulk, and I have caulk, but it ain't happening. I'm going inside and sit on my behind. But it feels good to get out here and at least do something. So yesterday we put the first coat of paint, and I caulked 3 sides, the sides and the back. I'm gonna go ahead and put the second and probably final coat of paint. And then when that dries, I will nail it. Only thing that will be left will be the front and the roof. Okay, I got my cedar boards for the front painted all the way around. And I got a bevel cut on the top. So this will be the removable panel. Maybe I got the wrong one. And it's gonna go all the way past the floor. And then the second panel has a bevel top and bottom. And it'll go above that one. I think I got them all too tight. And the third panel go above the second one. So they'll all shed water, and I may or may not caulk them. I guess I will. Then I got to cut a hole for the bird to come and go. And I got to put a piece of screen wire on that hole and then make some kind of perch. Okay, the 3 fronts are done, and I don't think I'm going to caulk them. I don't think I have any need to. But I am going to remove the bottom 3 panels. This paint's a little bit green, and I'm afraid it's going to stick if I don't take them off now and let it dry thoroughly. And also, one of them I had to trim the end to make it fit, so I'm going to get some paint on that. Put the screen and the little drain holes in the bottom, and then drill the hole for the birds to get in and out. And most of these things that you see on the internet have square holes. And I don't know that much about owls, but they're not square, they're round. So I'm gonna drill a round hole, even if I have to go buy a $25 5-inch round bit. I don't know if I have one or not, but I'm gonna do round holes. I've got my holes marked, the 5-inch diameter. I said that I was gonna buy a hole saw bit. I should have priced them before I said that. $60 for the hole saw bit, not the arbor. I already have the arbor, just the outside part. So I got a jigsaw. I'm gonna cut these with my jigsaw. So I'm ready to put the platform on the front of the owl boxes. Don't have to do this, but it will. To me, it does 2 things. One, it saves baby chicks because they want to get up and get in this hole before they're ready to fly. You know, they're still big. They're big birds, but they're not ready to fly. And then there'll be 2 or 3 or 4 other birds in the nest trying to get up there too. So they get pushed out sometimes and they fall down and they die. So having a little platform might save their life. 2, they can get out there and hold onto the rail and flap their wings and kind of get stronger, because if they were up in a tree, they'd probably have more opportunities to climb around before they're really flying. And 3, if we do get some owls, it'll give us a chance to look at them, to watch them, because we're not gonna be able to see anything in the nest. So we're gonna do it. Now, to cantilever a platform out of wood, it's pretty challenging. Here in the deep south, we have hot, cold, wet, dry, hot, cold, wet, dry. It's really hard on fasteners to keep something stuck out here stable for a long period of time. I could put a brace all the way across, which probably would be pretty strong. It would look like donkey do. I don't want to do that. So I think I'm gonna cut this aluminum extrusion up into angle, put a little angle, and then a little brace coming down, and I think that will be lightweight. It will never rot, and put wood on top of it, and I don't think it'll be that much of a distraction as far as aesthetics goes. So I'm gonna run this through the table saw twice. I'm gonna cut it right here and right here, and that will give me 2 angles for each one, and that should be enough. Cutting aluminum on a table saw or a miter saw is really no big deal. You do need a carbide blade because the teeth on the blade need to be harder than the aluminum. It really cuts easy. It does tend to be a little grabby. Like if you get your material a little crooked in the blade, it wants to throw it back at you a little more aggressively than if you're cutting wood. So I use a blade with the most amount of teeth that I have, so each tooth is just cutting a little bit, and I keep the blade just high enough to make the cut above the table. It's just barely high enough to make the cut, and you need to be a little careful of leaving scraps on the top of the table saw, because just like wood, it'll vibrate to the back of that blade and get thrown. But a thrown little chunk of wood is not so bad unless you get hit in the face, but a thrown chunk of this relatively sharp aluminum would be a lot worse. So keep the table saw clean, take your time, shouldn't be a problem. If it's a real thick cut, I've used WD-40 or soapy water to try to cool it, because it will generate a little heat. But yeah, so I ripped it. I cut the notch with the bandsaw, and then it looked a little too heavy, so I cut a slope with the table saw just to make each piece look a little less bulky, a little less noticeable. And it's probably easier if your hands don't shake as bad as mine, but it's the deck I was dealt, so I just deal with it. There's no cure, there's no magic pill that I can take to make it go away, except the pills that make you sleep all day, and I'm not going to take those. So I got my little aluminum pieces cut, and I got the edges knocked off, and I got it tapered just to make it look a little nicer. It really goes up here, but for now I can clamp it here. I can't clamp it up there. But I want to put another brace underneath them. So I got this copper pipe, and I think I'm gonna put a little brace. I think I'm gonna flatten this and bend it over, and the same here. Put some holes in it. So yeah, I'm gonna cut 6 pieces the same length and flatten it. I think I can flatten it without any problems. But it's copper, so if you want to soften it, you just heat it up with the torch and let it cool down natural, and it'll get softer. This is kind of tempered or hardened copper. Doesn't bend like the copper you buy in a roll, but I can make it bend. The way this bandsaw is designed, it's always been challenging to clamp it so I can be hands-free. I've tried a whole bunch of different ways, and none of them really worked well, but now I got it figured out. I just clamped a 2x2 in my vise, sticking straight up and down, and then I just set the saw next to it and tied it with a piece of wire, and it's 100%. It's a little wobbly, but it can't fall over, and it's worked out good. So I cut a little scrap of plywood at the height that I thought this thing should be, and it holds up the little piece of aluminum. It holds them all the same height because I use the same scrap for all of them. I have 2 holes drilled in that side flange, so I'll put 1 screw in, and I move the plywood, and I put my speed square just to make sure that it's square. It usually was, and I put the 2nd screw. And after that, they're pretty strong, but I'm glad I decided to put the brace because screws come loose over time. So I'm using pop rivets to put the copper onto the aluminum because I didn't want anything sticking up. I'm using 3/16 rivets. I think that's what they are. They're bigger than the little bitty ones, and they're too long, but we're using them anyway. And my old rivet gun is wore out just like me, so it was breaking nails, but too high. But no big deal. The nails are aluminum, and they just trim right off with a pair of snips. I don't know why it does that, but anyway, we got the top pop riveted and the bottom screws, and thing is super strong. When I built my shop at my previous house, I was working for a contractor that used almost all wood forms for concrete. So they had just tons of scrap plywood everywhere, and I would drag all the little pieces home and put them together, and that was my exterior siding on my shop. I had to cover it with something, so I went around and picked up cedar fence boards from trash piles and cut them into like cedar shakes or cedar shingles. And it was coming along good. I needed a lot of them. And then one night I found a pile and I was throwing them in my truck. And I was thinking, man, these things are heavy. But just loaded up my truck with them. And I got home and they're hardwood. They're all kind of hardwoods. They look like different kinds of mahoganies. I don't know. But I've been using these things ever since for various projects. So they don't rot, and they're tough and they're long lasting. Now I'm cutting the hangers, or they're French cleats really, and one of them's going to screw to the back of the box, and one of them's going to screw to the tree, and treated 2x4s that I had, so hopefully they'll last a while. If you notice my right hand, I keep 2 fingers on the other side of the fence. I've never cut myself on a table saw. I don't plan on it, but I think this helps keep my hand from getting pulled into the blade in case the board ever gets in a bind and shoots out or shoots away from or toward the blade. But anyway, so far so good. I'm going to keep on doing this. So I got a half of the French cleats screwed to the back of the boxes. Got one on each one, like so. And I got the other half. This is going to screw to the tree with this part facing out, so that all I have to do is get the box up there and hang it on this French cleat looking thing. And it'll hold it up. I'll put some more braces to kind of stabilize it, but at least you can get it up there and get it hung and get the weight off of you. And after that, I might put a brace from the bottom, or maybe some from the sheet metal top. And the sheet metal is at David's house in Hammond, so I'm kind of stuck. I've done all I can do. They're ready to go. I might even put the sheet metal on them after I get them up, because they're going to be a handful already. And without the sheet metal, I wanted to worry about getting cut by the edges of the sheet metal. Anyway, I think they came out pretty cool. I hope the barn owls think so. I don't know what a barn owl thinks. And if you read on the internet, you can be pretty confused, but I think I'm going to be okay. It'd be super to get some barn owls in here where we can watch them. Got a last minute change. The way I had it, the box was only going to be 1.5 inches from the tree, assuming the tree was straight. And I don't think that's very far for the sheet metal roof to stick out over the back part to keep the rain from blowing in. So I added a 2x, so now we're going to be 3 inches in the back. And then trees are mostly round, so I cut a notch. I'm cutting a notch with the bandsaw, so I think I'll have a better, it'll be more stable. I'll be able to move this around to a spot on the tree where it fits better. I've got some big giant long screws that'll go through all of this and anchor it to the tree. So yeah, 2 more to cut. Okay, David's here. We're sitting in the rain and cutting up sheet metal, making a lot of noise, but we have made a roof. And all 3 of them are going to be the same. So we have 3 pieces like this, 3 pieces like that. I got enough ridge to do 2 pieces, so the last one I'm not sure what we'll do, but yeah, it'll be cool, I think. I don't know if the owls will like it, but it's going to be cool. Okay, I'm putting a second owl box right at the top of that red ladder. I'm running out of battery. This thing is a piece of junk and the battery's dead. This one has a good battery, but I'm asking a lot of it, so I'll pre-drill these holes with these big giant GRK screws. And I had to pre-drill them in the tree on the last one because we put the box on a white oak tree and the wood is super hard. So this one's on a pine tree. Maybe they'll go in, maybe they won't. But when my battery dies, that's it for the week, and that's it for the trip. So the cleat is screwed to the tree. The ladder is 90 degrees more or less to the cleat. I tied the ladder, it's tied up top, and I put a rope from the top rung of the ladder to tie the box to, because it's real heavy and real awkward, and if I lose my balance or whatever, I want to be able to just let go and not worry about the box falling to the ground or me falling.
What kind of knot is that?
A mystery knot. Doesn't really have a name. Kind of.
The photographer is also the belay person. So this video is going to be horrible.
Actually, she was not able to video and handle the rope at the same time, so we have no video, but I got it up there. And the trick was to go higher than the cleat and kind of try to swing that bad boy around and lower it. Once it catches that cleat, it's a done deal. It doesn't even have to be centered. The cleat will hold it up. And this is the spacer to hold the bottom out to keep it plumb because it wants to droop. And it's pretty rough cut, but the bark's pretty rough anyway, so worked out fine. Each one of them measured a little bit different, the three houses. So put them up and put them level and measured. Okay. So I took this piece of galvanized flat bar. This is the bars that come with quade fences or hurricane fences. And I marked it into 6 11-inch long pieces. I drilled a hole on each side. I'm gonna cut them. I'm gonna pre-bend them to make like a little brace for the owl nests. I don't really know the length I need or how to bend them, but it's so much easier to do it here in the shop. So I'm gonna take a gamble and do them all the same. I can always bend them in the field with a hammer and like hammering on the trailer ball of my truck. And if any of them are too long or too short, I'll just make a next one, and the next time I'll just replace them the next time I go. It's just easier to do this stuff in the shop. So the cleat up top was not enough to stabilize the owl box, so I got it level. They wanted to sag back against the tree, so I got it level, measured, cut a little piece of treated, and screwed it, and now it's real strong. And the little braces are just a little added. Yeah, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I'll try not to stick my tongue out all the time since you're filming. Okay. Now we need to move the big ladder to the front so I can put the roof on. We are through with this ladder.
Okay, what does the book say for posterity?
The book says that you need to put something soft because they'll drop their eggs on the plywood and they might break, or they might break when they get moved around. So I'm using sawdust because I have some. So the benefit of having a strong perch is I can lean the ladder against it and then it doesn't move like a sconce. Just made everything so much easier because it's hard to lean a ladder when the sheet metal extends out on all the sides. The perch is also a pretty handy place to put your screw gun and your screws and your snips and whatnot. Yeah, the perch has been
on this side,
good.
on the other side.
The perch has worked out pretty good so far.
This is where my shaky hands sometimes make it a challenge.
Barry says maybe we'll get a sparrow, if not an owl, or 30 of them.
Okay, first side is on. I trimmed a little bit so I could slide it backwards. I'm trying to get that original 3-inch overhang that we had when we scratched our heads in the shop and cut it. I'm gonna go get the other side, or I gotta cut it probably. And I don't know if I'll have to cut the ridge, but probably. Okay, both sides screwed into place. Let me go get the ridge cap. One more trip up and down the ladder, maybe. A secret between me and you?
Yeah.
This is not a ridge.
Okay.
This is a wall running flashing, or a eave flashing. But we use what we have, right?
Right.
We're using what we have. Back up. And the ridge cap is in place. This stuff still has the original plastic film from when it was brand new. I built my shop with this, so it is, I don't know, it's been an attic 25 years. But now it has a home for a long time, I hope. Let's get out of here. I dropped a bunch of screws. I wonder if I can find at least half of them. Maybe one day we'll actually have an owl living in one of the 3 boxes. I haven't seen any barn owls, but we have barred owls, which can chase the barn owls away because they're much bigger and they'll eat the babies. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Owl box number 1 is done. Will the owls like it? I don't know. It is kind of close to the cabin. Cabin's right here. I put it so we could actually watch the owls, but nobody's here most of the time, so hopefully we'll get a tenant. I did move the platform down 2 inches. Try to quit shaking here for a second. I did move the platform down 2 inches because in my mind, pretending I was an owl, it just looks better. The other 2 are going to be much easier in the truck than in place to move the platform down. Yeah, I think it's relatively waterproof. I put lots of overhang on the sheet metal. Put like a little pointy thing in the front. A little Japanese influence here. We'll see what happens. I'd like to get an owl. I ended up just getting squirrels. Might end up just getting squirrels. Who knows? All right, box number 2 is mounted. 1 more to go. It's a lot of work. These things are heavy, but we're gonna get it.